All right. Welcome to another episode of water treatment in poultry production. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to well shock chlorination in poultry operation. To put it in a nutshell, we need to shock chlorinate the water source if we have pathogens problems. If the level of iron is high in your water, if the level of hydrogen sulfide is high, because some minerals like iron, like manganese, they can feed pathogen bacteria. And we are going to get rid of that by doing a shock chlorination. Here, I'm going to introduce you to a 6-step procedure, but to put it in a nutshell, I'm going to summarize it in 2 points. Point number 1, we need to calculate the amount of water in the well and in our distribution system. Number 2, we are going to calculate the amount of bleach or chlorine-based product that we are going to add to that water to shock chlorinate it. That's it. Very simple. But in this video, I'll show you a real example with calculation. So we are going to treat the well by shock chlorination. Why? To eliminate bacterial contamination, to reduce iron-fixing bacteria, and to reduce hydrogen sulfide producing bacteria. Sometimes you can smell or taste rotten egg in your water. It is because of these hydrogen sulfide producing bacteria. And the most important solution to get rid of these bacteria is just to shock chlorinate the well. But before doing that, we need to remember some important tips. Tip number 1, the concentration of free chlorine in our final treatment should be 100 to 200 parts per million, or ppm. This amount of free chlorine is toxic for animals and humans. That's why we need to make sure nobody is gonna drink this water during shock chlorination. And that's why we need to do this procedure only between flocks, not when the birds are in the barn. To reach that concentration of free chlorine, we need to use 3 pints of liquid bleach per 100 gallons of water. 3 pints is about 1.5 liters of bleach, and 100 gallons is around 378 liters of water. So if we calculate how much water we have in our distribution system and the well, then based on this tip, we can calculate the amount of bleach that we need to use to reach 100 to 200 ppm of free chlorine. But to keep the system efficient, we need to remove any activated carbon filters. If you are using any activated carbon filters in your water system to treat the water, you need to get rid of that during shock chlorination, because it's gonna reduce the effectiveness of your chlorine. And keep in mind that chlorine fumes is irritating to the lungs. So that's why a safer way is to use the tablets that I'll talk about that in this video. So here I'm going to introduce you to a 6 steps shock chlorination procedure. First, we need to know how much water we have in the well. So we need to determine the water depth in the well, and then based on that, we need to determine the water volume in the well. But we are going to shock chlorinate the well and the distribution system. That's why in step 3, we are going to add them up together to see how much water we have in the well and distribution system. After that, we are going to determine the amount of chlorine product required to reach 100 to 200 ppm solution. And the next step is just to add that bleach to the well and distribution system. And after sitting for a while, you need to flush the system to get rid of that high amount of chlorine in your water system. So here is an example, and I'm going to walk you through the calculation step. Just imagine a well with a 10-inch diameter casing is 183 feet deep, while the water level is 130 feet below the surface. The well serves a unit with a 20-gallon hot water heater. How much bleach should be added for a shock chlorination of 200 ppm chlorine treatment? So, before calculating, we need to understand the information, right? So, we have a well. The depth of the well is 183 feet, and the distance from the surface, from the ground to the water level is 130 feet. And the diameter of the well is 10 inches. Now, in step 1, we are going just to take away 130 from 183 to calculate the depth of the water in the well. Because if we know the water depth in the well, then based on a table, we can calculate the volume of water in our well. But we need to know the diameter of the well. That's why you need to measure it, and in combination with that water depth, you can calculate the water volume in your well. So we are going to use this table to calculate the volume of water per foot of well. So we said our well has a casing diameter of 10 inches, right? So in that case, based on this table, we can see the water volume per foot of water depth is 4.08 gallons. So now we understand that in every foot of the well, we have 4.08 gallons of water. So now it's easy just to calculate the volume of water in the well and also the system. But first, we need to calculate the volume of water in the well, right? So the depth of the water was 53 feet. We calculated it already. So we are going to multiply it by 4.08, which was the amount of water in every foot of the well. So it's gonna give me 216 gallons of water. Now I know that there are 216 gallons of water in the well. But we are going to calculate the amount of water in the distribution system as well, right? So For this example, we have around 50 gallons of water in pipe system within the house. And as we said, there is 20 gallons water for a 20-gallon hot water heater. So altogether, if we add them up, we have 286 gallons of water to treat by shock chlorination in the well and our distribution system. Now we can determine the amount of bleach to add to make that 200 ppm chlorine solution. So as a tip, we need to know for every 100 gallons of water, we need to add 3 pints of bleach. Every pint is about half liter. So I'm going to calculate it by this ratio. For every 100 gallons of water, right, we need 3 pints of bleach. How much water do I have here? 286 gallons of water. So you can just multiply 286 by 3 and divide it by 100 to calculate the amount of bleach required to shock chlorinate 286 gallons of water, which will be 8.5 pints, or around 4 liters of bleach. So now we understand for shock chlorination of 286 gallons of water in our well and distribution system, we should add about 4 liters of bleach. Now just add it. You know, we need to dissolve the bleach solution into a clean 5-gallon plastic bucket, and then slowly pour the chlorine and water mixture into the well and distribution system. But a safer method, as I mentioned, is to use tablets, calcium hypochlorite tablets. You can just drop the required amount or required number of calcium hypochlorite tablets directly into the well and then allow 2 hours to dissolve. So to mix it thoroughly, we need to attach a hose to a nearby water hydrant and then recirculate the water in the well down the well casing. It means that you are going to circulate the water from well into the well again to mix it thoroughly. And then let bleach stand in the system for at least 2 to 3 hours, or overnight if possible. If you are not in a hurry, it's good to let it sit for an overnight to completely, treat the water. And step number 6, just flush the system completely and get rid of the chlorine. After flushing, you need to measure the free chlorine level in your water system to make sure that the chlorine level is safe for birds. Usually, if you have birds in the barn, we need to have a 3 to 5 ppm of chlorine in the water. That's why I emphasize that. When you are doing shock chlorination, you need to do that between flocks, when there is no birds in your barn. By that, again, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, leave your constructive comments down there in the comments area. And I hope we can build a poultry science community together and learn from each other. Take care, enjoy your life wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next episode.